2K25 is here and we got some brand new stuff that we found for you guys. Some good stuff and some stuff you just got to know about. One cool thing is that if you have John Cena come out for his entrance, they are going to talk about, the commentary is going to talk about John Cena's whole retirement tour that he is currently on. One of the good things is that as patches and updates come throughout the year and we unravel John Cena as heel John Cena, I'm sure the commentary is going to update as we go when he has certain matchups, and it's going to reflect things that have happened on TV because they tend to do this. So check out John Cena. Commentary talks about him like this.
Cena's once again dedicated himself to standing atop WWE during this farewell tour.
Universe mode, that's another thing on Matt's list. Now I'm kind of enjoying Universe, but there are still some hiccups. Some things like promos are just very lackluster and just not, I'm bored of it already. But one of the things I'm not bored of is going to be King of the Ring. I did a little digging here. So King of the Ring, as you play it normally with the normal template in Universe mode, you will see that once you complete King of the Ring, you will get the title shot at SummerSlam. Now, a lot of people were asking, what if I want to move this around and change the show and do all of that and customize it? Will King of the Ring still work? The answer is yes. You can move King of the Ring to Monday night. If you want it to be on Raw or to change the entire format so that it looks like all the show details is going to be Monday Night Raw, you can totally do that. It will still stay as King of the Ring. And so you will have the qualifiers and then you can have the title match still at SummerSlam. The good thing here is that you can set it to be a secondary show. You can have it replace just that 1 week of Monday Night Raw, or you can have tournaments every single week, which would just, that would probably mess it up. So try it out because it's a really good way to get around making tournaments work and not having it just for King of the Ring. Now, one of my favorite things that I got this year, and it's half baked and I don't like that, is going to be DX theme song and Evolution's theme song are in the game. Something I clamored for years to get. But the Titantrons are not there. What I suspect is going to happen is that now that we know with the DLC and the season pass, we are going to be getting New Age Outlaws. I'm going to hazard a guess that D-Generation X, Titantrons, and everything else is going to be attached to that when it does come out. Evolution's Titantron, I don't know why. 2K, if you're listening, just put the Trons in, man. Don't make me wait till like October, November. It's kind of silly. And speaking of theme songs, one that was taken out is Stone Cold Steve Austin's Disturbed theme. So if you finish Showcase and you do the Austin Rikishi match, it's a lot of fun, but they have Austin's Alliance theme in there and they don't have the Disturbed theme, which I don't really like. Just like, why do they have to take out the themes and take out the things and then they put it in like next year and they'll say, hey, look what we added, and just slap it back in there? It's silly. Now, what's not silly is going to be one of the big improvements that I really do like, and it's going to be all of the damage, the blood, the bruising to any superstar in any given match. If you're going to go deep and hard into a match, and that's what she said, you're going to have a great time because you're going to see so many welts and scratches and bruising and everything, depending on the match type you're going to do. But the more brutal the match gets, the longer it goes, you're going to see way more damage. Make sure you just toggle blood on in the menu. It's off by default when you get the game. And one of the big things that I've really liked, and it's kind of just changed up the flow for me for playing this game this year, is going to be all of the camera options. Being able to have a third-person camera and swing it around the superstar for their entrance, zooming in and out, it creates a lot more dynamic feel to it, as well as just having free camera during the matches. I've been using that a lot. Now, one thing you want to keep in mind though is that if you're in the match and you've set it to have that free camera, that third person view, if you want to be able to pick them up off the mat, you got to hold down the right trigger and then hit up on the joystick to be able to bring them up, and then everything else is normal. But there are presentation options that have now been updated in the menu. So the field of view, if you go into the gameplay settings, you'll see that field of view is set to default. There's also wide and there's also extra wide for the camera. This is how close and far away the camera will be during the match and that you're going to be able to see. They also have camera cuts, so for big moments, and then you can check the frequency that you have. If you want them to have frequently, sometimes there's a little bit of the time, not at all. It's how many camera cuts you're going to get during the match, how many times it's going to cut to your opponent, cut to you during that match flow. They have it for pins and submissions too, so how often the camera is going to focus in on you when you are going to do a pin or you got your opponent in a submission. Dive attacks, same thing. You can have it a little bit of the time or all the time. Every single time you do a dive attack to the outside, the camera's going to zoom in on you. Another one that I noticed is that they added in taunts for the cameras so that you're going to have this a little bit of the time, frequently, or all the time. I tested this to have it kind of all the time. I don't know if people will love to do that. You can just pull it back a little bit, because when you have it all of the time, it does zoom right in on your superstar doing their taunt, no matter what's going on in the match. So it's kind of cool because you get those close-ups and you get the camera actually focusing in. It does change the feel of the match, which I like, because you're gonna have now all of these additional camera cuts, not to mention you are also able to move the camera around freely however you want. It really does change it up, especially if you're gonna do like just sitting there just doing taunts on the top row, but watch out, you just might get smacked later on. Now another gameplay setting that they have added in this year is going to be stamina mode. You can have it as normal or infinite stamina. So it's how tired your superstar is going to get during a match. If you just leave it to normal, then everything is normal in the match. If you run around the ring for too long, they start slowing down and they stop and they get way too tired and they can't pull off moves. They're going to get reversed a lot. You can change it to infinite stamina, and this way there is no problem. There's no slowdown. So if you're tired of it, if you're tired of it being tired, then you're not going to have that issue anymore. Flick it off in the gameplay settings. You can do it during the match, or you can just go and set it up in the gameplay menu. So it's going to be set up as one of your default settings. Speaking of universe mode again, one of the things that you can do is you can have intergender matches in universe, but you have to go into the settings in the options menu in universe mode if you want to toggle this on or off. It's set to off by default. Now if you flick it on, then you're gonna have intergender matches in universe mode going forward. Now another neat addition they have done is in just regular play. When you hover over any of the matches that you want to select, like a singles, a tag team, a Hell in a Cell, and so on, you're going to see in the top right corner that you have the best match stats. So it pulls all of your statistics for what was the last match they did, or what was the best match that has happened for a Bloodline Rules match or a Hell in a Cell. What was the best star rating and what was the matchup for there? I think it's just a neat little detail to show you how well some of these matches have performed or just haven't performed. Now, as I mentioned before, Austin's Disturb theme, not in the game, but when you beat Showcase and beat the match of Rikishi and Stone Cold Steve Austin, you unlock that version of Austin. You're gonna get his traditional attire, which is just gonna have the vest and his in-ring gear, and you're gonna have the one that you have in Showcase, where it's more of his street gear. He's got the jorts and he's got the t-shirt all tucked in. But one of the cool things is that there is a new championship motion with Stone Cold Steve Austin. So what I did was I went to the settings and I didn't use his heel theme. There's not nuts on it. Some people like it. It's not for me. So I changed it back to the regular Austin theme with all the different Trons. And then you've got the championship motion. So I gave him the Attitude Era championship, as you should. And he comes out and he actually flips off everybody in the crowd. So finally I got a new Stone Cold Steve Austin entrance motion, but it's for his title motion. So I think it was a nice touch. Now, the other thing is I was digging through to see what's working, what's not. One thing is, as of right now, they've done another patch. So they've done patch 1.04. There's a slew of updates and all of that you guys can read about on 2K's website, but one of them is that My Rise now seems to be fixed. I say seems to be because there's gonna be people in the comments that are like, it still doesn't work. I'm like, I understand. I tried My Rise for about 3 days and it would crash at the menu. I would click on the box and then crash. It would crash my whole game over and over and over again. Yesterday I went in after the latest patch downloaded, restarted everything. My Rise now seems to work. I'm playing on PlayStation 5, so it was working for me at least. I was able to finally get started, and My Rise is kind of fun this year. It's worth noting, it might be worth your time if you're not somebody who plays My Rise every year, and that includes myself. There's a lot of unlockables this year. One of them being like Scott Steiner, and he's got his big Papa Pump theme song with Holler If You Hear Me and the siren. So they fixed that. There's a lot of unlockables in My Rise, and I know for me, I'm gonna do my best to just trying to grind right through this thing because I want to be able to get a ton of those unlockables from titles, different superstars now, and the arenas. So I noticed with some of the entrances, they're not really working all that well. For whatever reason, the Bloodline faction entrance is an issue. You have Roman Reigns come out and you're gonna have 3 different managers. Paul Heyman will not come out as a proper manager. He takes the Sami Zayn slot, and he's not Paul Heyman standing there holding his hands up for the tribal chief, which seems odd because this whole thing was about the tribal chief and the island and all of that. So 2K needs to fix this. This still isn't corrected after the latest patch. If you put Sami Zayn in there, it's fine, but Paul Heyman, he's just sitting in the background, so it's not correct. People have asked about chain wrestling too. So chain wrestling happens only in 1v1 matches. You can tweak the settings. You can turn chain wrestling on and off if you want, but if you get into a grapple situation, you're going to be able to initiate it. Otherwise, it's not going to happen, but it's only in 1v1. And the other thing I checked for too, and it's disappointing, but mid-card titles and side plates, they're not there. So I tried like Braun Breaker and other superstars. They do not have their authentic side plates. It's just like the years past. They haven't updated it and it's not included. But a cool thing that they have updated is going to be breakouts. So if you're going to do a breakout during an entrance for anybody, it's really cool. It gets to a certain point. So you can initiate the breakout and click it to start it right away. but you're gonna wait for the entrance to kind of come through, and they get past a certain point in the entrance ramp, and then bam, they're gonna interfere. So it creates a better looking cutscene for it, which I really like. It's a good attention to detail. If you guys want to talk more 2K25 though, I got this video right here. Go through Universe. We're having some fun. Have a great day. See ya.